What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital, coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is November 30th, 2020. Happy month end. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to be talking about the price action in the indices, volatility. We're going to go under the hood and check out the sectors and style factors, the trades I took, and then we will wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please do your own research, follow your own trading plan, and last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. So with that being said, let's jump right into it, and we'll start off with the headline indices here. So you can see here, we had the S&P 500 down 0.44% today. We had the Q's technology up 0.2%, and the big loser today, we had the small caps down 1.82%, and we had the Dow Jones down 0.88%. So on the surface, looks like a little bit of a reversal of some of the momentum that the value names and the recovering trades had. So if we take a look at the ES right here, in terms of the trend and the momentum, let's take a look. Let's make sure we're on our daily chart right here. Yep. So if we take a look at what ES is doing, we've had a couple different sequences here. We had our very bearish sequence in September, bull trend, another bearish sequence in October. Then we had, the really bullish sequence post-election. And now we are really just trending sideways. So if you take a look, we had some great, moments up here, like on all these vaccine pumps and all the Mondays. We've had some very nice price action. But as of now, if you take a look, we are above the 5-day exponential moving average. We're above the 20-day simple moving average. So we're above all of those key moving averages. But if you look at where we are today, in terms of the monthly value area, we are opening up December in the value area. So this is the true test where, if we are going to keep trending up, we should be able to break beyond this 3,652 level on the ES. And we'll have to see. We'll have to watch out for that point of control. But as of right now, in terms of trend, I would say this is, like up to sideways. So now let's take a look at the Qs. And you can see the Qs. The Qs have been very unloved in terms of, like the reopening trade. The Qs have really just been moving sideways for the past couple months. Let's take a look here. Qs have yet to make, higher highs since, early September. So it's pretty interesting. If we take a look again above all the key moving averages, this one, you can see we are above the monthly value area. This new value area we are about to enter, we're above that as well. And this one you can see we had some downward price action, and we ended up putting in this sort of hammer candle where it looks like throughout the day the price action got a bit more positive. So let's take a look at what we saw intraday. I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart just so we can get a better feel for what actually happened today. So if you take a look, this is around 10 o'clock. So you can see we had a big shakeout this morning where we had some big red candles and we went into the weekly value area. But you can see that large lower wick, meaning, buyers came in, and you can see from 11 o'clock on, we just had a trend day up. So this is, it's certainly not the most bearish thing I've ever seen if we have a little shakeout in the morning and then, strength throughout the rest of the day. So as of now, the Qs, we'll have to see if this is just like a little bounce in terms of the relative strength today, or if it's actually something more. Now if we look at the small caps, the big loser today, it's pretty interesting here. Let's take a look. And I'm not sure if this is, like some front running of, like increased COVID cases from, everyone going on holiday, and really what's going on here. But these small caps have had an incredible run. And you can see that since the election, they've really just stayed in an uptrend. But you can see here today we did close below the 5-day exponential moving average. So we will have to watch here. Tomorrow this value area is going to be lit up for the month. And you can see we're going to be within that value area. So for me, when I'm looking at something that's like, is it in an uptrend? Is it in a downtrend, sideways trend? Within the monthly value area, in my eyes, means you're sort of trending sideways until you break out. So definitely we'll keep watching this. And then I'm sure the Dow Jones looks pretty similar. Yeah, Dow Jones pretty much just moving sideways. Also closed below the 5-day EMA. But you can see some dip buyers came in. So let's take a look under the hood. We'll check out those sectors and style factors. And let's see what really happened with the action today. Let's take a look. Wow, these are ranked in terms of momentum, and you can see that the cannabis stocks took the lead in first place for momentum. It says YOLO ETF. I've been long, like 12 strike May calls for a while. Posted those on Twitter as well. And you can see, oh my gosh, look at this monthly performance, up 46%. Great performance for the week. This one is just looking, very strong. The energy stocks, which have been in a very strong uptrend with plus 40% for this month. You can see they took a bit of a breather today, down 5%. So that is pretty big in terms of a one-day drawdown. The solar stocks, I actually closed, I don't think I posted this one, but I did have some calls in this solar ETF, and I actually closed them today. And as you can see, let's take a look. The solar stocks, it's not really like they had a weak finish or anything, but I just had to take a couple positions off. I had a nice winner in this one, so I just thought, hey, why not? We'll trim this up a little bit. Yeah, and you can see solar stocks, they're still looking very bullish. This is actually just a pullback to the 5-day EMA. So, these are looking really good. I would definitely jump back into these again. But, I just decided for prudence, I will do some trimming. Let's take a look at the energy stocks. Okay, so energy is looking a bit more ugly in terms of this reversal. So you can see we hit this peak, looks like on November 24th, and we hit that R2 pivot level. Since then, this is a couple down days, and this is like a pretty big red candle. So that is certainly not very comforting for those energy bulls, but we will have to see what the river brings. Let's take a look at some of these other sectors. Let's take a look at what's been really weak. So the weakest sectors, gold miners, utilities, and medical devices. You can see it looks like some of the weak spaces, had a bit of a bounce today. Gold miners up 1.31%. We have those medical devices up 0.73%. But the utilities, didn't catch a break, down 1.44%. Something super interesting I thought that happened with gold was Raoul Paul, who is like super influential. He's the CEO of Real Vision, and he has like 300,000 Twitter followers. He actually posted about gold the other night, and he said he essentially sold all of his gold and, is putting all of that into Bitcoin. So the reason why I think that is interesting is because usually, it's this guy right here. Usually this guy's like a big macro head, and typically it is the macro heads that are pushing everyone into gold. So to see that the macro community and the CEO of one of the biggest macro platforms is now no longer bullish on gold, that is definitely something, in terms of that downtrend for the gold miners, something to be cognizant of for sure. Let me see. Yeah, here he says, okay, last bomb. I have a sell order in tomorrow to sell all my gold and to scale into some BTC and ETH. So that is super interesting. If you're a gold bull, that's certainly not what you want to see. So let's take a look as well at these style factors. You can see today we had, all the ones with the highest momentum really getting crushed. High beta got crushed, down 3.18%. Cyclicals down 2.83%. And international value down 2.84%. The only ones that were positive were momentum, growth, and defensives. So this is sort of like a counter trend day, and we'll have to see if it develops into more or if this is just a little blip on the radar. And we'll take a look at some of my trades for today. Let's take a look. This one actually expired worthless last week. This one was a loss, down $4.70 on this trade. I just listed here cost of doing business. And this is important because I like to show this because not every trade that you're going to put on will be a winner. And this is one where I lost the trade. There was actually a really good learning lesson in this one related to options flow. So I'm definitely going to put together a video about this one over the weekend. And it relates to the fact that, for this trade, I put on a bullish structure for Tesla, but it had downside if Tesla went like super, super bullish. And for something like this where you have a lot of call buyers coming in, I would have been better suited doing something like a call spread or even just like a naked call on this one. So more to come on that. We'll probably come out with a video on that one over the weekend. Let's take a look. This is one I initiated today, a long Apple trade. I took the January 15th 120 strike calls. And I posted here, the chart looks attractive, and then you do have those call buyers coming in. So like for this one, I was like, let me learn a lesson from that Tesla trade. And for this one, I see these call buyers coming in. So let me, actually attack this trade. So like, let's take a look. So if we look at Apple, it did have a little bit of a fade, towards the end of the day, but that's okay. So if you look at Apple, it's really done nothing for the past couple of months, just drifting sideways. And you can see we tested the value area high. We looked above and failed here. But one thing I think is interesting is that you have all these call buyers coming in once again. And I'll show those, at the end of the video when we look at the options flow. But that's not something that I saw any other time that we tested that value area high. So I said, the market looks like it's, turning bullish. Apple is showing relative strength today. I'm seeing the chart looks nice, and I'm seeing that options flow. So I said, I'm going to put on a position. Another one that I closed. We have my cruisers. I have loved these cruise line stocks. So you see Norwegian. I closed these calls out for $7. That was a gain of 115%, which was awesome. And then I also put on some Royal Caribbean calls as well. Those I didn't specifically list out. But in my original trade, I included that I bought the Royal Caribbean calls as well for a similar gain. Really, the reason why I wanted to take some gains here was because, I saw that the cyclicals and the reopening trades looked the weakest. And while I do think these cruise lines have a lot of room to run in terms of, really getting the vaccine out, all that good stuff, I figured just for prudence, I have an over 100% gain here. Let me just take that one off the book. And maybe I can buy these cruise lines, a little bit cheaper in the future. Who knows? So let's see how those cruisers looked. Let's see. Yeah, this candle, still closed above the 5-day EMA, but didn't even close on the lows. So we'll have to see what happens with these cruisers, but, figured let me just take some profits off. And that is it. In terms of things that I'm going to be watching, moving forward, I have a position in AMD. I bought some, common shares as well as some calls. AMD had a very nice move today. So if you take a look, AMD, yeah, look at that. That's the move that we wanted right there. Let's go. So if you take a look, yeah, this one has, been chopping sideways, and has put in this very nice base. And you can see we are breaking out of the range on high volume. So you can see, the relative volume 1.63. So we're getting some nice volume. And you can see, like, if you look at the last time AMD just chopped sideways for months, once you get that breakout, it can be pretty explosive. And this is another one where I have been seeing call buyers hitting the tape as well. So this one, I'm going to keep watching it and just let this position run, for as long as it wants to go. Spotify. This is another one where I was actually debating whether I should put on Apple or Spotify. This one looks even better than Apple. Spotify, you can see, looks so similar to AMD, up almost 5% today. And it's approaching the top end of its recent range. So that is another one that looks super interesting. And then you can see, where's the other one? Sama. Oh my gosh, Sama was ridiculous today. This is one, I added some calls on this one, posted them on Twitter. Funny little side story. My girlfriend and I, we have this vacation account, where we save for a vacation. We put stuff in there. And I approached her a couple days ago. Said, Lisa, can we put some Sama calls or like some Sama in the vacation account? And she said no. But sure enough, here we got the move. So up 17% today. And there was actually some news about this one. It is a Colombian cannabis company that is being acquired through this SPAC deal. The name is Clever Leaves, and that merger is going to close on December 18th. So I'm guessing that got some more interest in the stock today, and you can see it just exploded on ridiculous volume. And this is one I called this one out in my video the day that I put my calls on, and I specifically said the float on this one is so low that if it gets any sort of interest, it's going to pop. And sure enough, that is what happened. So still holding those calls. And then Slack. This is another one I'm still holding my position in here. This one looks beautiful. This was one where I originally got into it, I think on one of these candles right here. And I just thought, Slack, it's so beaten up. I use it all the time and really like it. And I thought they had some good optionality within their platform. And they were trading so cheap, it was so hated. And sure enough, with the announcement of this acquisition, that's sort of I was not predicting an acquisition, but that's really what I meant when I was there's just some untapped optionality here. So we'll see. This one, it really depends where that deal price is. So what I mean by that is if we find out, Salesforce is acquiring Slack at a price of, let's say $45 a share, most likely the price is going to move instantly to 45 and then just kind of sit there. If they say, hey, the deal was announced for a price of $40, the price I'm sure will immediately move down and just sort of sit there as well. So this one, we'll see if it has any more upside. I'll most likely take a target, if this one hits around $45. I'll have to figure something out. Maybe I'll just set a trailing stop. But we'll see. And last but not least, let's take a look at some options order flow. Let's take a look at Cheddarflow here. And Cheddarflow, you can see here now I have the dark pool data. I took advantage of their Black Friday sale. It was such a good deal. I was paying $85 a month for Cheddarflow, which to me is worth it because I'm a big options trader. And I enjoy seeing the options flow. Every once in a while I catch a nice trade from it. So for me it's worth it. But with the Black Friday sale, I was able to lock in a price of $40 a month by paying, a year up front. And I got my thing upgraded as well. So it's cheaper and I upgraded. So that to me was something where if you're not into options order flow, I never push anybody into, subscribing to Cheddarflow. But at $40 a month for the premium, that was something where, I would pound the table on. That's just a great deal. So let's take a look at some of the high dollar option order flow. Oh my gosh, there was so much today. Oh my gosh, this is insane. Wait, let me see this. I want to back up and see, what it was like in terms of calls and puts. Okay, there was a little bit more put buying today. 56% calls, 44% puts. That's not nearly as, complacent, which is a good thing if you're bullish. So let's see. We had some Pinduoduo calls go up for April. Pinduoduo is a name that I really like. I do trade it quite a bit. Let's take a look at Pinduoduo. Wow, this one looks pretty good. Yeah, take a look at this. It's sort of putting in a little almost it's putting in a little flag here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's this is super crude. This is just me drawing lines on a chart here. But yeah, it's starting to look tight. So I definitely, that is top of my watch list for tomorrow, honestly. And it put in a very nice long lower wick. Yeah, to me it looks pretty good. So I got to write that down after this. Zoom was seeing a big trade for calls. What? I believe they reported after the close. That's not really as relevant. Let's see. More Pinduo Duo. And look at this. This is what I meant by like, look at the Apple calls here. 3.4 million, 3.4 million, 2.8 million, 1.6 million. These are all call sweeps. So like, I don't know what these people know or like why they're positioning so bullish. Might have something to do with the new iPhones. Really just that it's been consolidating, hasn't been doing much. I'm not sure, but this is something where I take note. And that's why I think this Cheddarflow platform is useful. It's like, look at this one, 3.4 million. Yeah, there was just a ton. The Tesla calls, you tend to always see those. And Tesla's been very hot lately. Let's see. Oh, wow. Everyone is buying puts on IWM. So that is another thing where I'm like, okay, people are starting to turn, the flow's starting to turn bearish on small caps. And it's interesting because small caps were the worst performer today. And I see we have a bullish bet on the Qs. And, the Qs have taken a break for so long. Look at this. And to be honest, like the Qs has most of the companies that are going to be growing, their sales, growing their earnings. So I could definitely see why if somebody's bullish, they're like, hey, why not buy the calls now rather than when the Qs are like super extended? Does that make sense? Yes, that about does it for the options order flow. Once again, as I always mention, I am going to post my link where if you want to do, 7-day free trial of Cheddarflow, you can certainly do so. But once again, I enjoy posting this content for you for free. So no pressure either way. And we can even start getting into these dark pools as well. I haven't really used these that much. Let's see if they're useful. So that about does it for my market recap video. I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate all the feedback from you guys. So have a great night, and have a great trading day tomorrow.